What's up guys, Matt here from DCLblogger.com. Just giving my thoughts about the recent massive sale we saw. $6.6 million from Nifty Gateway, one of one, just sold of a Beeple piece. Beeple has been iconic in multiple times, right? He has been the man that started the everyday movement, making a day of art on his Instagram and sharing it with the world for 13 years straight. So I think that's over 5,000 days. It's over 5,000 days of making an art piece every day. We kind of started the everyday movement, and then he came to Nifty Gateway and did a very iconic drop, which we all at that time remember, where he dropped this set here for $1 a piece, and people scrambled to get them. They were gone in a second. There was only 100 of them, and they sold out. They were starting to sell in the secondary market almost immediately for $2,000, $3,000, and that was kind of when also and then the next drop that he did, he came in and did this thing, right? Beeple Redux Open Edition. So he did these editions where if you own them, then you also get this physical box component that he would ship to you, which includes some really cool collector items. And so this is the first time open editions were made, and you can see like 470, about 600, so 600,000 just from this. I remember the drop being, I remember looking at the numbers go up and I'm like, this is just too much minting. Like this supply is too much here, right? Because I'm not from an art collecting background. I'm from a cryptocurrency buying and selling background. So things like supply and demand and all that sort of stuff come to play. And so that was what happened. And you can see, like, if you go to the lowest price now across all of them, it's $165,000. Oh no, wait, that's just into the ether only. So this is 150. Infected is 188. So it looks like the cheapest one's about 150. Although this supply was low, it's been increasing slower than the others, which is quite surprising. So anyway, he did that, and then that was the first time an artist came to anywhere and sold $1 million plus worth of art. So it was like such an iconic moment, and I remember looking after that, and then the whole NFT world was going crazy at that point, which was much smaller than it was right now. And so now announcing that there is going to be a Christie's drop. So Christie's will be, this will be the first NFT only piece to be sold at Christie's, and this is the first time they'll accept Ether as a payment. People are predicting that history is being written right now, right? This is the first time Christie's is doing this. This is the first time so many people are paying attention. The story is kind of building right now. And so a lot of people are kind of betting that this is going to go for a massive price, because it's just such an iconic moment. And artists that are coming to the platform are doing like $3 to $4 million worth of sales, drops like on the regular now. So we had Trevor Jones come through recently. I think he did $3 to $4 million. But anyway, so it's an interesting thing to see this happen. So $6.6 million, the one-of-one Beeple piece sold for. So this was a really cool piece. All right. This piece originally started with a video or a GIF of Donald Trump and Joe Biden. This is before the election, of those two kind of having this battle, right? And the piece changed to either one of them. So if Joe Biden won, it would have been a different piece. Yeah, I think this is the piece it would have been if Joe Biden won. So Joe Biden won, and this is what it showed. If Donald Trump had won, it would have showed Donald Trump kind of walking through like this fiery hell type thing, right? It was a cool little programmable art type thing that had going on. And so this is the final piece. So people are looking at this and thinking, what the hell is this? Why is this going on? But at that time, it was important because it was kind of playing with the tech. And there's been multiple experiments with the tech, what NFTs can do. And Async do this really well. And multiple people have done it really well. So this is not the first of that, but it's just a bit of a history to this piece, right? And I think this is the first time there was a one-of-one ever sold from Beeple. So if you go to Beeple, this is, I believe, the first time. Okay, that was that one. Oh wait, yeah, the first drop. So crypto is bullcrap. So this one sold for $66,000. This one was the one that sold, right? So at the start, it was this. So you can see Donald Trump and Joe Biden fighting it out. And then, yeah, Biden won. It turned to this, $6.6 million. And it originally listed for $66,000. So it was like the first ever Beeple piece. So it's iconic in that sense. So what I'm kind of realizing as a collector And I don't want to pretend that I'm a traditional art collector. I've collected much stuff in the past. I'm someone that has explored the NFT realm and been just part of the economy for 3 years and seeing how things work out. So when there's volume coming in, when there's interest, I like to deep dive and kind of figure out, while being part of it, how to make it work. And art collecting is new to me, but I've started to love it because I love some of the artists. I love some of the art that I collect. I can definitely resonate with it. It's special to me. I love owning it and saying that I own it. It's just such a cool experience. And so I've kind of gone into that world, and now I kind of get why people collect certain things. So yeah, the fact that Christie's is doing the first auction for Beeple, I think people are predicting it to be like 6-10 million. Like, if this can sell for 6.6, I don't see why that one won't sell for 6, 7, $10 million plus. So yeah, I think that's why this was the Christie's announcement is why this kind of came up and sold for $6.6 million. I think because people are realizing that Beeple is going to be a big part of the historical part of digital art. So 5-10 years from now, when people are buying and selling NFTs, Beeple was definitely iconic in that experience, in like kind of pivoting the space in certain directions. Definitely there were so many artists before Beeple that we have to give credit to, that did so many things, not just financially, but just like push the space, educated people, did podcasts, ran events, and full credit to them. They'll be a big part of the history as well. But so this is going to happen, and I think if the Christie's auction does sell for 10-20 million, people are going to rush to try and pick up a Beeple piece, which there's not much supply of, to be honest. And I think what's going to happen as well is Beeple came in, he did this drop, and then once he did his massive drop, it looks like he understands business as well, so he wants to continue to give value to the collectors. So if an artist continues to come and drop like thousands and thousands of art pieces, well, it kind of dilutes the overall art world, and that's okay. At the end of the day, an artist can do whatever the hell they want. They're an artist. We kind of revolve around them, and that's fine. That's how it should be. But I think, that being said, it looks like Beeple wants to give value to his collectors. So I can't see him coming in and saying, hey, I'm just going to do a massive drop and drop like unlimited art. He's made money. He's going to look for the next stage to really give value to his collectors. And that's why I love buying Beeple pieces. Not just because I like the 3D art, but also because of the story behind it, the iconic nature behind it, of what it might be in the future, 3 years later, when people look back and the history books are written and people are making documentaries about this stuff. Where is Beeple going to sit in all that? I feel like he's going to be a big part of that story, along with many others. So that's what collectors are realizing, and traditional art collectors, I'm assuming, are of similar mindset as they kind of invest in stories, they invest in iconic kind of parts of the industries. There's a big culture of fine art there, and in this scenario, they're probably coming to this thinking, where the hell is the fine art? But this is a different culture. This is a culture of, digital media. This is a culture of memes and digital, relatability. It's so much more deeper, at least for us in the social level, at a cultural, us living on the internet, us internet people, that I think it's disconnected from the traditional art kind of theories and the way it works in a sense. But anyway, when this sale happened, B20 went crazy. So B20 is, and another part of the history of Beeple is, this is the first drop that happened. So these three were released at the same time, a 1 of 1 here, a 1 of 1 over here, and a politics is bullshit piece of 100 that sold for $1 each, right? So everyone, I remember looking at the screen, and I was actually doing a podcast at this time with like 5 to 10 artists. It was ferocious. I think Jonathan Wolf, there was like 5 or 6 Merspin. It was just really fun, and we were all there talking about stuff, and then we were all like paused during this drop, and no one got anything because it just like sold out so fast. So for us, it was just like those memories, right? It's just part of our story. Anyway, so he came in and did this second drop where, again, he did the open editions, and then this one, and then final NFT. No, is this one? Nope. I think no, it's not that one. Is this one? No. I'm such an idiot. It's not that one. I'm trying to find the 2020 collection. It must be the 2020 collection. I'm so dumb. Okay. So this one, right? These were all 1 of 1 pieces. All these 1 of 1 pieces were put on auction. So there's 21 of them, I believe. And 20 of those were bought from MetaPurse. So MetaPurse bought 20 of those for 100K each, or around that price. I think they spent like 2.5 million. The 21st one, which which God, where is it? I don't know where it was, but the 21st one had a cool story for it, because there was a bidding war and it went from 100,000, 200,000, 250, 260, 280, 300, 330, and then boom, Tim Kang came in with $777,000 bid, and I just remember being like, what the heck is going on? And everyone on Twitter was going nuts. And that's where like this whole thing kind of became a whole piece of the story. And there's just so much depth to what happened here. And so that all these are kind of owned by MetaPurse, right? So MetaPurse ended up putting all these 20 into the a kind of vault type thing, B20 vault, and then they issued a ERC20 token, so you can kind of invest in that. You can buy that, and based on how Beeple continues to grow his career, how the value of the art pieces continue to grow, that's what the price will reflect. So it's interesting because the recent sale that happened suddenly doubled this thing's price, and it's kind of done a bit of a pullback, but it reached $10 almost. I think it hit $10. Yeah, $10. And I think it'll go higher. So as people anticipate a larger sale here, because what's going to happen is people will be watching this live. They'll be watching this live, and as it starts to hit 1 million, 2 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, I think people are going to rush to Nifty Gateway to buy stuff. So, yeah, just some thoughts and some words on the whole story of Beeple and why it's kind of iconic in the minds of some, and why people are kind of spending big dollars here. Because again, if it is going to a digital age, and this is a big part of the story, and now what does that mean for the rest of the Nifty Gateway art? Well, at the end of the day, like, Beeple pieces will become kind of unaffordable, but there's so many artists here with their own story and special to their own communities, and as their own follower base is coming online and they're understanding what NFTs are, they want to start collecting pieces, suddenly unlocks this 1,001 million. Like, Beeple himself has 1.8 million followers. So when they all know what this NFT stuff is, and when they all come rushing to kind of grab a piece, that's buyer demand, right? So all of these collectors, all of these artists will continue their own trajectory. So the bet as an investor, as purely investor, that's going beyond what as a collector you like to look at. But as an investor, I think what's going to happen, and this is my prediction, take it however you will, but I think there'll be certain artists here that were pre 2021 that were part of the history before we went mainstream, that it looks like we're going mainstream. And so I'm trying to look for their first pieces of art. And I also think, like, when these artists come and drop a ton of art, so for example Ferocious or Trevor Jones, definitely an iconic artist, comes and drops like all these, they will sell for their base price of $777 as an open edition. But eventually Trevor Jones and these other artists are just going to make so much money that it's not about making and dropping art anymore. It's kind of just managing the supply and continuing to keep that value or grow that value. Again, artists can do whatever they want, but I feel like it'll go that direction. And so therefore, I think the supply for these artists, when they break out into the million zone, will become low, because I can't see Trevor Jones coming back for a massive drop. Once there's thousands of artists here doing their thing, I feel like they'll do their thing and then kind of dip out. And then grow their career and grow their trajectory of what else they can do to pivot the industry and be an artist. And so I think that will happen. And that's why, like, even though, there was $4 million worth of these minted, I'm not sure how many numbers there are. There's probably thousands of them minted. It may seem like a lot of supply, but I think Trevor Jones eventually, this is a complete prediction, but I think Trevor Jones will eventually just stop, like, he'll stop selling this much art, this much open editions, right? Which will, if the demand continues to grow for his story and his trajectory, then these will go up in value. Now, I know Ferocious also sold this. Let's go check that out. And I think Ferocious coming with another drop. Okay, I think it was... Which one is it? Crypto Caster, my open edition by Ferocious, and 2 feet by 2 feet. Okay, well, I don't even know how to find this one. Looks like 383 editions were sold. Let's check out the sales history. Global only sales. Looks like it's about $2,000 a piece. It sold for $1,000 originally. but I can see this one going up in value as well. So yeah, I think Ferocious and these artists will, you know, go on to make documentaries, will go on to like explore the world and kind of stop dropping so much art. Maybe is my prediction. And I think because of that, the scarcity will kind of go down, just because they've just made so much money now that it looks like they can kind of start to just like pull back and start to grow the community and do other stuff that maybe they just want to enjoy. And also a lot of artists will come here and start to throw their digital art around. There's eventually going to be thousands of artists, right? So yeah, no, just some of the words that I just wanted to share with you guys, some story about Beeple and what I think might happen to the industry if Christie's goes nuts. And that's my investment thesis. My investment thesis in the art industry is that I want to invest and buy art that I love, artists that I love, artists that seem to be pushing the space, artists that will continue to do big things and be part of the story. And it just makes sense. I mean, like, geez, $6.6 million, $6.6 million out of nowhere. Previously, the highest sale was 777,000, which was still a ton of money. But 6.6 million is just like, it's huge. It's 10x. It's almost 10x 777,000. And at that stage, we were dropping our jaws. So 6.6 million, like if we suddenly start to like 20, 30, 50 million at the Christie's auction, I can't even imagine, guys, the demand that's going to come in to purchase these art pieces. Anyway, we are all kind of watching these evolve. We're all learning. I'm not going to claim to be the guru. I'm not. I'm just sharing what I kind of know about the space and my sort of collector theory.